Welcome, everybody, to the Real Trekkies Cast, Episode 2. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris Ferner. What's up, Chris? Steampunk Star Racing? Okay.
He's frozen.
He's frozen.
Yeah.
What's up, Glory?
Hello.
What's up, Jacob?
Hello.
Okay, so I promised Daniel. I watched it on the bus on Netflix. Deep Space Nine, the pilot, Emissary Part 1 and 2, which I haven't seen in years, mind you. And I'm telling you, this, of course, had the dramatic opening with Locutus from Borg attacking, Starfleet. And there's Chris. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, there's two of them.
Hello. Okay, so we're having technical difficulties, but we're really hoping that Daniel can come in here in time.
Yes, Daniel, please come in.
Yes, please, because we really want to discuss Emissary Part 1 and 2. It was very hard Benjamin Sisko was Commander Sisko had fought Locutus from Borg, and basically the ship got wrecked. He had 5 minutes to get everybody escape pod out, and it kept taking minutes. Finally, he got to his wife, Jennifer, and she was pinned down. He got Jake, his son. They passed it off to an ensign to get him on the shuttle bay, and he just couldn't save Jennifer. Jennifer was dead, his wife. And then it's like that dramatic effect where you see them pulling away from the ship as it blows up. Hopelessness, you know. And then later on, 3 years later, he gets chosen to be the commander of Deep Space Nine, which is in a part of space where Bajor and the Cardassians had this big, massive battle war, and the Bajorian government's on the verge of collapse. Gul Dukat is the main Cardassian that causes them problems, and basically, at any given moment, there could be all-out war. Bajor could collapse, the Cardassians could take over, and, it's just, they had, now that he has to take over this space station, which is not fully set up yet. I mean, all the weapons are not set up, the shielding, and, he has to work as a team with his group that really don't want to be a team. Major Kira Nerys basically, is used to being a leader herself. She's not used to taking command. She has her security officer, Odo, who is an alien, one of his kind, who doesn't know where he came from, who, has a problem fitting in, so he's like the muscle behind the whole show. You got Quark, who is the thief and the gambler and the charlatan and the trickster, and, he's the trouble behind a lot of different things. And you got Sisko's best friend, Dax, which is basically an alien symbiont that keeps hopping into bodies as he dies. And his last incarnation, he was an old man who was friends with Sisko. Now he's Jadzia Dax, and a beautiful 27-year-old female. So he's got that. He's got Dr. Julian Bashir, who's supposed to help him, and straight out of, I guess, Starfleet Academy, looking to make a name for himself and cure some diseases and get some adventure going on. You got Chief Miles O'Brien, who from the Enterprise was great chief engineer. So great cast, quite different than Next Generation. I mean, immediately this battle starts, and it has a really, really deep storyline to do with the religious aspect of the Bajorans, that they go to Sisko right away. It's like they sense that he's going to be their emissary. He's going to be their chosen one. Like, somehow they just know, I don't know how, that he's going to be a big part of their lives. And Cisco is an amazing, amazing character because, he had to deal with the death of his wife. And then he has to face the guy that killed his wife, and he has to take orders from him. And it's great how, as you come to the end of the episode, he accepts that it wasn't Picard's fault, what happened, and he accepts that he's a good man, and he's ready to stop being a jerk towards him and just embrace Starfleet and peaceful. He's a lot more. He came to his resolution dealing with the aliens in the wormhole, that he needs to let go of the past. He needs to stop trying to torture himself that his wife is gone and he still can't live without her. So there's a lot of different things that we get from this episode, the two-part pilot, and I really, really think it's one of the best openers for a Star Trek show. What do you have to say, Chris?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good two-part episode. It also had Picard in it. He had a cameo.
Yeah.
And you see that he still has a grudge against Picard for being Locutus.
Yeah.
And so it was a very interesting dichotomy. Cisco starts out as a troubled character. He's got his inner demons. He's still dealing with his wife's death and still having to work with Picard, which he has a grudge against. And so I thought that was very interesting. Deep Space Nine, for me, is kind of the middle of the road for Star Trek shows. Out of all 5 Star Trek shows, I'd say it was my 3rd favorite.
See, I actually really loved it. I probably agree with you, but I really took to Cisco as a captain because, you could identify with Cisco more than anybody. Picard.
He started off as a commander, and then he later got promoted to captain. But
right.
But yeah, the same thing. He was basically in charge of Deep Space Nine. But yeah, no, it was a very good show. I thought at times it went too far from Gene Roddenberry's vision and got a little bit too dark. I didn't like the Section 31 subplot that they started doing in later seasons.
Yeah, the Men in Black and
because they had
covert ops.
because they had when Gene Roddenberry was still alive in the first 3 seasons of Next Generation, they had tried to bring up Section 31. Some of the Star Trek writers tried to bring up Section 31 then, and Gene Roddenberry was opposed to it because he said that Starfleet would not be that corrupt, that they would have already weeded out their corruption, and they would have a system in order where people wouldn't have a need for Section 31. And
right.
So I mean, that was my only criticism. I still loved the show, and I still thought they had great episodes, and it was at least still Star Trek, unlike the contemporary Star Trek.
Right.
But I did feel that it strayed away from Gene Roddenberry's vision sometimes a little bit too much. But other than that, I thought it was a great show.
I like the evolution of Cisco, the way he looked, the way he acted. When they got the Defiant ship, when Worf came aboard, it started really getting dark and war, and it was amazing. Gloria, do you remember Deep Space Nine?
Yeah, the Dominion Wars, the war with the Dominion, and they brought in Worf and that actually increased the ratings of the show because it actually created a ratings boost. But yeah, the interesting thing about Deep Space Nine, unlike Next Generation, which I did like this element of Deep Space Nine, it was an entirely linear plot from the first episode on.
Right.
With the character development and with the lead up to the Dominion Wars and the lead up to the Cardassian subplot and all the different subplots they had going on, it was a linear line of storytelling from the first episode. So if you missed a season of Deep Space Nine, or you missed too many episodes of Deep Space Nine, or if you missed more, maybe just a couple episodes, you would be lost because it was a very complex storyline, which I liked. And Next Generation didn't have that. Next Generation, most episodes were standalone. At best, they had two-parters. So
Right.
yeah, that was an interesting way. Enterprise kind of repeated that narrative as well to a certain extent. From season 2 to season 4 of Enterprise was a very linear storyline, and you had to watch every episode or you would be out of the loop of what was going on.
Yeah, but Next Generation after a while was their cliffhangers. You had the best of both worlds, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then it got a little stupid after a while with their cliffhangers. I mean, it got like, Data's head in the past, and
I actually like that episode. That's
You
very,
like that?
that's very Times Arrow.
I hated
one
that.
and two.
Yeah,
I
no.
love that episode. It had Whoopi Goldberg as Guinan. You know,
Yeah.
she played a very big part in that episode. It had Mark Twain.
Right.
And looking back at it now, I think I recently watched that episode again because, like, sometimes if I feel really depressed or really down, I'll watch an episode of Next Generation for inspiration.
That's good.
But
I misjudged Insurrection because when I first saw Insurrection, I hated it. But now I've been seeing it. It's been on every week. And
Yeah.
I'm watching bits and I start to. I'm like, I do like this.
Well, Insurrection was directed by Jonathan Frakes. I thought he did an excellent job of directing Insurrection. There was only a couple of minor details in Insurrection that I didn't like, but overall it was a good film.
I liked it. Yeah.
I liked it, and it's regrettable that the producers viewed Insurrection as a failure, so they brought in a different director and fired Jonathan Frakes as a director. Jonathan Frakes, of course, famous for playing Commander Riker. But Jonathan Frakes did a really good job directing. He directed 2 Star Trek movies. He directed First Contact and
Which is
Insurrection.
fantastic. Yeah.
And because Insurrection grossed less than First Contact did, they viewed it as a failure. They were like, "Oh, we need to bring in fresh blood, so let's bring
Well,
in."
Nemesis sucks totally. Totally. I don't like Nemesis.
I had mixed feelings about Nemesis. I didn't care for Nemesis, but
I hated Nemesis.
I don't know if you remember, there was there was a video, this was before YouTube, so it was just something you had to find on, like, BitTorrent.
Right.
But there was a fan-edited cut of Nemesis that actually was not that bad.
Really?
Well, yeah, because there was a lot of deleted scenes in Nemesis. There was, there was a cameo of Wesley Crusher. There was a scene. I actually watched them because I still have the DVD, but it's in storage. I had the DVD and it has all the deleted scenes on it. But there's also an in-depth deleted end scene for Nemesis where Riker is getting transferred to the USS Titan and he's leaving the Enterprise D for the last time. And so when you add all these, and it's like I don't understand why they cut them because they were really good deleted scenes, and it added more dimensions to the storyline and a little bit more closure for Next Generation cast. And I actually remember seeing it. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of it anymore. But yeah, there was a fan edit cut of Nemesis that came out like 10 years ago. That was slightly better. But yeah, it had flaws. And there was a couple of plot holes, and
the whole plot hole with his clone that's Romulan, that was just totally plot hole city because
he didn't look like Picard, and
what was the purpose behind that? It's like, all right, you cloned him and you threw him in at the mining part of the planet. What's the purpose of that? Like, I don't understand.
Well, I mean, the purpose of it was he was originally meant to be a clone they were going to assassinate Picard. They mentioned it in the movie at the beginning.
Right.
They were going to assassinate Picard. The Romulans were planning on assassinating Picard and replacing him.
Right, and then they just decided.
That was the point, but then after they created the clone, for whatever reason, they decided against that plan, and then they considered the clone kind of like a political embarrassment, so they decided to dispose of him in the mines. I had no problem with that plot device. It was with Nemesis in general. The problem I had was like when when the Enterprise D collided with the Romulan ship.
Yeah, I didn't believe that at all.
It should have been destroyed.
Exactly. You and I agree with that one.
Both ships should have been destroyed totally because you're dealing with volatile antimatter containment, and you're disrupting antimatter containment, and it would have destroyed both ships. It was a good strategy. It was still a good strategy to destroy the ship to prevent it from destroying Earth. If I was Captain Picard and it was, this ship is going to destroy Earth unless I do a kamikaze attack, that was a good strategy, but it was not realistic in the sense that the ships were able to separate.
I agree with that.
And I didn't like how it was, Nemesis was kind of a watered-down remake of Wrath of Khan. Where
they even said that. They tried to make it like Wrath of Khan. They failed miserably, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they made Data kind of like a watered-down Spock, and he sacrifices himself.
They tried that, yeah.
Sacrifices himself for the sake of saving the ship. It's a very similar plot device. They could have done a better job. And sadly, Brent Spiner owes a lot of credit to the failure of Nemesis because he co-wrote the screenplay.
Ah.
And you see a little bit of Brent Spiner's ego in there because he gave Data so much face time, and he gave Data another clone called B4 I didn't
agree with that at all, actually.
What?
I didn't agree with that. I always thought it was just lore and that's it. It
was Brent Spiner's idea to write B4 in there.
I don't like that.
He was the one that wrote all that in there. And the main reason, you can see Brent Spiner's motivation. He was trying to do, Brent Spiner, when he wrote the screenplay, he co-wrote it with somebody else. I can't remember the other guy who wrote it, but he had a big impact on the way that the story unfolded.
Yeah.
But Brent Spiner, he was trying to set himself up for another movie.
Really? I thought he didn't want to do it anymore.
Because actually Brent Spiner did an interview about that after Nemesis. He was like, yeah, I was hoping that they would do a sequel to Nemesis. Because they actually left a cliffhanger because B4 had Data's personality downloaded.
Yeah, basically Data's programming re-overloaded B4's program. So in other words, Data took over the body and B4 deleted, basically.
Yeah. Basically, Data was going to come back, and Brent Spiner wanted at least one more movie, and he did it very Data-centric, which I don't know if he pulled it off very well, but he did it. He did it partly to. I just didn't like the way he did the story. He's a good actor, and he did a good portrayal of Data, but he's not good at screenwriting.
Right.
He just didn't. And the guy, I can't remember the guy that they brought in as director. He was like an action movie director. I'll have to look him up again. The guy they brought in as director has to replace Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes, he's actually a great director. He's a great director, and it's sad that because Insurrection did $20 million less than First Contact.
That's stupid. Yeah, that's stupid.
Even though it made money, it just didn't make as much.
That's just ego. They
considered it a failure, and they basically fired Jonathan Frakes as director and brought in an action movie director, and you see the result. You got a guy who directed the film, which I need to look that up sometime, who had no concept of the characters. He had no history with the franchise, didn't understand the franchise, and that led to Nemesis' failure. But I will say this: Nemesis is still a better film than the last two Star Trek films, because it at least still felt like Star Trek. The last two Star Trek films, to me, do not feel like Star Trek.
Well, you got a Star Trek movie next year coming out, so.
Well, I hope it bombs, so that way maybe it'll, somebody can buy the rights to the franchise at a reduced cost. And
maybe Disney could buy it.
What?
Maybe Disney could buy it.
Well, hopefully not Disney. Disney owns too much as it is.
Disney would probably fix it.
Disney and their parent corporation, Viacom. A lot of people don't realize it's not just Disney. Viacom owns Disney. They're the parent corporation. I mean, Disney still operates as an independent company in a lot of ways.
Where is Daniel?
I have no
I
idea.
told him yesterday. I said, all
Yeah,
right, we're going
yeah, Daniel should be on board for this, man.
I told him yesterday we're going to do it. I told him
Yeah.
to get ready.
Several times Daniel, because Daniel knows I have a passion for Star Trek. Several times we've had private video chats on Google Hangouts. He'll give me a video call just to talk about Star Trek because he knows that I'm one of the few people who's very passionate about Star Trek, and that even though we disagree fundamentally on some key issues of Star Trek, I still respect his opinions even though I disagree.
Right. I can't. I'm watching Deep Space Nine today, and I'm like, wow, I missed this so much. You know,
Yeah, I'm not sure why they canceled it. I mean, they canceled it after 7 seasons, and it didn't get canceled for low ratings. They just felt like
173 episodes.
They just felt like the story arc had completed itself, and there was no need to do any more. But
I miss Star Trek on TV in general.
No, I do too. I mean, there's over 700 episodes, but I've seen every episode. There's over 700.
It sucks that it's just not on TV. It sucks like there's nothing new.
My favorite from Star Trek Deep Space Nine is probably gonna be Dax. I like her.
Yeah, Jadzia Dax. Yeah, she's awesome.
Me too.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like an episode where basically like she met this princess, whatever her name was or whatever, and basically it was like that, like leading to something like about different sexes, like sex changes or something like that. Whatnot.
Oh yeah. That was another thing about Dax, is they kind of retconned her character a bit, which, if you notice, like in the first season of Deep Space Nine, she refers to herself as thinking above sexuality, and that she's lived many lives, and sexuality is kind of like almost like a petty thing. She doesn't say it's petty, but she's kind of referring to it as a petty thing because you have the Doctor hitting on her on the first season.
Yeah, but then she winds up with him though when she.
Yeah, I know, and they kind of, like I said, they kind of retconned her character and changed it a bit. But I mean, I think they changed it for the
sort of like her character's sort of like the Doctor in a way, like regeneration.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Well, in season 7 was controversial when she changed bodies. That was controversial. A lot of fans didn't. I remember when Deep Space Nine came out. A lot of fans did not like Dax of season 7.
Yeah, she died in middle like the. Which is
she
weird.
died. She died in the season finale of season 6.
Yeah.
The body did, but the symbiote lived on, and that's why the first name I can't remember. See, I'm bad with names, but I remember facts. The symbiote remained alive and possessed a new body, so the symbiote has all the worm thing, has all the memories,
right?
Has all the memories, but.
Not the personality.
Well, the personality changes because it's a different body, and so it merges with the other personality to make a new person.
Right.
And we still had the name Dax in season 7, but it had a different first name.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
And I remember a lot of people at the time.
I was upset.
A lot of people didn't like the fact that the original actress left, and the original actress. She did an interview, and she said that she later regretted leaving Deep Space Nine. She wished she had stayed with Deep Space Nine for all 7 seasons.
She should have. That was ridiculous.
But yeah, a lot of people didn't like the new. I remember there was a lot of back when America Online was a big thing. There was a lot of message boards on America Online where people were complaining about that, and they even had America Online back in the late 90s when Deep Space Nine was still airing. I wish I had gotten into that discussion. That would have been neat. But they had like a live chat where like some of the actors were on America Online, and they could live chat with their fans on the internet. That was neat. A lot of people forget that the internet was already a pretty big thing by the late 90s.
Yeah. What did Gloria have to say?
I was agreeing with the whole Dax thing. I liked her character in Deep Space Nine, but I was more, like I said, I grew up watching Next Generation, my sister, and the original. So those two I know more, but Of course, I don't remember the plots and everything, but I remember the characters, their faces, more than the names and the plots and stuff. But Data, I loved him. And never,
Esri Dax, right? Is that was the new Dax? Esri or
Yeah,
Esri?
Esri Dex, because Esri was the body and Dax is the symbiote.
Right.
the Dax I liked was the Nicole. Her name was Nicole, the actress. Nicole something. I forgot her name. I forgot her last name. Nicole something. That was my favorite of that character, the actress that portrayed that character.
Hmm.
Nicole something. That's what I remember. Her name was Nicole something.
Yeah, let's see. Let me look her up right now. Nicole DeBoer.
Yeah, her. I couldn't pronounce her last name because it's weird. But that's my favorite. That.
Yeah, I've met some of the actors who played the characters in Deep Space Nine. I've met the Major, and I've met the season 7 Dax actors.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I've also met Michael Dorn. I met Michael Dorn, who played Worf.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's your favorite character, Gloria, in Deep Space Nine?
Dax.
You like Dax? What about Odo? You like Odo?
Yeah, I liked it. The one that you were talking about when you first got on, I don't remember that one. I didn't see that. You said it was the first episode of Deep Space?
Yeah, the pilot, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. But I like the plot. The plot sounds really great. I might go and check it out. Those two.
No, it's a very good episode because it deals with loss and anger and trying to deal with trying to grow from pain and terrible loss and trying to deal with anger management. And it's the only 2 Deep Space Nine episodes that had the Borg in it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in the flashback scenes, but it was pretty graphic flashback scenes because you have to see what he lost, to appreciate it.
I didn't know that you were so big with Star Trek, so that's awesome.
That's cool.
Steampunk. I mean, we could definitely do these.
Daniel, we have.
Yeah.
Well, me and Daniel have had several private discussions in depth where he did a private video chat with me because he knew that I'm very passionate about Star Trek.
So what did you take about the last episode of Deep Space Nine? I mean, did you see like Cisco as coming back? Probably.
He's in a non-linear loop. The wormhole aliens,
Got 'em.
Probably view them as gods, but they're just aliens.
Right.
And
but they were repairing his body.
They live beyond linear space-time.
Yeah, but they repaired his body, right?
What?
They were going to repair his body, I believe, right, or something like that.
Well, they saved him from destruction by freezing his timeline, so he's kind of in suspended hiatus, so he could come back.
Right.
And I found it to be sad, and I felt like there was some intentional cliffhangers where they could have brought them back. And I know that had there been another Star Trek Prime universe, because that's what the Next Generation universe is referred to as the Star Trek Prime universe. Had there been another Star Trek Prime movie, Brent Spiner had talked about writing another screenplay, although he didn't do that good a job on Nemesis. But he.
I would have Cisco show up.
What?
I would have Cisco show up in this new Star Trek show.
Well, he had talked about Brent Spiner had talked about co-writing a script for another movie, which would incorporate characters from Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and Next Generation, and that's what they should have done. We need progression in Star Trek. We don't need regression. We need progression. Star Trek is not Star Wars. That's what J.J. Abrams is trying. Ironically, he's now directing Star Wars. But that's what J.J. Abrams even said that he was trying to do with Star Trek. He was, let's make it an action movie, and what could I take from Star Wars and bring into Star Trek? And that's what made the new Star Trek film so terrible.
You know,
to me. It was so offensive to me.
I thought it became like the Spock show rather than all about Kirk.
Yeah, and
It was
it's like
just Spock. Like, hello, Spock has a girlfriend. What? What are you talking about? Aurora? What?
young Spock in love meets Shaun of the Dead. That's basically what.
This guy has no emotions. So like, but he has this girlfriend, and I'm like, what?
What's what I'm saying? Young Spock in love meets Shaun of the Dead. He has an affair over her. You know, you bring in the guy from Shaun of the Dead to play Scotty, which makes Scotty kind of a joke. I mean, I know a lot of comedians like to make fun of Scotty. You know, like Scotty beat me up. But Scotty as a character was a serious character. Yeah, there was comical things.
James Doohan.
James Doohan.
I met him actually when I was a kid. Yeah.
I've met him once. I met him once. I met him once when I was a kid. He was a nice guy.
He told us he was filming Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. God, I was like, well, he's like, it's do time travel. I'm like, oh my god, because I was always with Doctor Who time travel. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I found out at a convention that when I was a kid, when I met him, that he was not really Scottish.
Yeah.
I remember thinking he was really Scottish, but yeah, that's what they should have done. To me, Star Trek is a fundamentally important show because it is more than just entertainment. It is a foundation, a blueprint for a future that we could have if we get our shit together and stop messing around. It is fundamentally important. It is a philosophy. It is a blueprint for the future, and that's why I'm passionate about the vision of Gene Roddenberry, and I consider myself a follower of the vision and the philosophies of Gene Roddenberry. And that's how I approach myself when I promote myself to people. Is I say I'm a follower of the philosopher Gene Roddenberry. Because when you say you're a Star Trek fan, then people just like try to typecast you as this dorky nerd.
Right.
But so I'm very passionate about Star Trek. I'm very
awesome.
Very passionate about why I hate the new films.
So you're gonna fit in perfectly with this new show that we have, the new Star Trek cast we have here.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know. I'm surprised Daniel or...
I really had no clue.
I've seen all 700 and odd episodes of Star Trek. There's been over 700 episodes. If you count all 5 seasons, or all 5 seasons. There's more than 5 seasons, but all 5 series.
Yeah.
I was going to say, by the way, if you guys want to check out in August, back in August this year, I'm not quite sure which is the date yet, but Daniel and I are bringing back the Daniel Star Trek cast and making it another fun Daniel Star Trek cast again.
Oh yeah.
In August, so whoever wants to join the Daniel Star Trek cast is more than welcome to.
Okay, I'd be happy to.
So yeah.
All right, guys, we have actually pressing matters to take care of. We have the Everything Show and the Real Movies cast to do tonight. So, hi, Albert.
What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. I just. Are you into Star Trek or no?
A little bit.
A little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, and then we're gonna go. I'm sorry.
Well, I love the new reboot movies. I have seen a little bit of Next Generation.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. Any opinions? Anything you want to say? Favorite characters?
Picard is the best captain.
Okay. Gotcha.
Nice.
And who do you hate the most of the Star Trek captains? Do you hate anybody? No. Do you like them all?
Kirk.
Do you like Kirk?
No, I hate Kirk.
You hate Kirk? Wow. That's interesting.
You like the reboots, which has the character Kirk in it.
You like Kirk in the reboot? Or you
yes,
hate
I like Kirk in the reboot.
But you hate the original Kirk? Oh my god.
Yeah, William Shatner.
Wow. Love William Shatner. Oh my god. All right. Hey, that's fine, man. Hey, listen, a new opinion, different opinion. Hey, we respect all opinions. All right, very good. All right, guys, we're out of here. Take care, bye for now.